Live, trance, and prosper. Howdy, I'm Dr. Brian David Phillips, and I'd like to tell you a story. Now, this isn't any old story. This is a very special story about Loki, THJAZI, SKADI, a goat, and Loki's testicles. Now, recently, Norse mythology has become more and more popular in the English-speaking, well, in the whole planet, actually. And that's mostly because of the Marvel movies featuring the almighty Thor, who's rather more than a whole lot awesome. Recently, my wife, my daughter, and I went to see the sequel to Thor, the current one about the Dark World. Ooh, with elves. The former one had giants. Well, that got me thinking, they really ought to make a whole bunch more of these. And since the character of Loki is quite popular, and you can't tell me Loki's not popular in the Thor movies, because every time I go to a Thor movie or an Avengers movie or anything else slightly related to the character, and the character of Loki walks on, I can hear the thoughts of most of the women in the room, and quite a few of the guys too. It's like a Dolby chorus going, "He's so cute, he's so cute," because Loki may not be cute, but damn if Tom Hiddleston's not cute. He really is. And they ought to make a Loki movie. And I've got the perfect plot based upon actual mythology, an actual story about Loki, who was an actual god, if such things exist. The story of THJAZI, Loki, SKADI, and a goat begins when Odin, Loki, and Njord were off traveling around. They'd left Asgard, and they were crossing some mountains and some deserts beyond. And they found little food, and they got hungry. Because the neat thing about Norse gods, they eat and they drink. Well, they came to a field that had oxen. They killed one of the oxes. Right, and they cooked that sucker. And although they kept breaking open the cooking pit, the ox never seemed to properly cook. And the meat was raw. Now, after discussing the cause, they heard a voice coming from a nearby oak tree. And they saw a large eagle perched on the tree. And the eagle said, "If you give me my fill of the meat, it will cook." It was agreed, and the eagle ate more than his fill. Well, this kind of pissed Loki off, because he took exception to this about the eagle taking more than its fill. So he picked up a really large stick, and he whacked that eagle with it. Ka-cha! Well, unfortunately for Loki, the stick stuck to the eagle's body. Those of you who know my work as a hypnotist know the little thing I do with sticks sticking to someone's body. Well, evidently the eagle knew how to do that. And the eagle started flying away. Well, the stick was stuck to the body, and Loki got worried that the stick is stuck to the body and people are going to find out that I hit the eagle, so I'm going to hang on. Well, he hanged on. Yes, my English is also good today. He hung on to that stick, and the eagle flew up, and there little Loki, hanging on for dear life, because he realized after being pulled up a bit too far that, oh dude, if I let go, I get crushed in the fall, and if I don't let go, Oh, I'm going to dislocate my shoulder. And so Loki called out to the eagle, hey, dude, because Norse gods talk like that. Dude, could you do me a favor and let me go? He's terrified, hanging on hundreds of feet above the ground. He's really worried, couldn't let go of the stick, and he begged for mercy. Oh, dude, please, please, please. And the eagle's like, screw you, dude. You're the one who whacked me with a stick. And Loki said, dude, if you let me go, I'll get you Idun and her golden apples. Well, see, Idun is, of course, the incredibly hot, sexy, and very beautiful goddess of health and beauty. And her apples are very special. They're the very apples that kept the gods immortal and forever young. They're really awesome apples. And so the eagle said, I do believe that might be okay then. And so the eagle set Loki free, and he was able to rejoin his companions. But he didn't tell anyone about his deal. Because, come on, it's Loki. Well, Loki was set free. But see, the thing when he promised that he'd get Idun and the apples for the eagle, who incidentally turned into the form of THJAZI, a giant, he swore an oath, which is unbreakable in Norse mythology. So, Loki returned to Asgard with the others, and he talked to Idun and said, Idun! Ho ho! I know where you can get some apples that are even cooler than your apples that you collect, that are so neat and wonderful. And Idun's like, oh really? She didn't really talk like that. She was actually quite attractive and not a big fat bearded man. But just imagine a really pretty melodious voice. Oh, really? And she followed Loki into the forest to find the super cool new sweet apples. And the eagle shows up, turns into the giant, grabs her, and, well, actually, no. I'm telling the story wrong. Loki turned her into a walnut and carried her. Because Loki can turn into crap. He turned into a bird, carried it to the giant, turned her back. There's the apples, there's Idun. THJAZI's okay then. That's cool. Got the hot babe, got the cool apples. Thanks, Loki. You're the man. Well, problem with this is Idun is, for some reason, the gods kind of like her because she's really sweet and innocent and wonderful. And when she's around, you don't age or die. And when she was gone, they started having some problems because they couldn't get those apples, get their fix of immortality apples, and they started aging and having a really shitty time. They noticed she was gone, they noticed some of her apples were missing, and they realized, hey, Loki's not here. He's behind it. Because if you don't know what's gone wrong, blame Loki, and you're probably going to be right. And Loki came back, and he realized they threatened him. They said, dude, get us back to Idun, or we'll kick your ass. And Thor's all, listen, dude, with his big red hair and his big bushy red beard, because he's got a beard. And the real Thor always has a damn beard. None of this clean-shaven stuff. Okay, he's not always clean. Has a beard. Sometimes he is clean-shaven, but that's only against his will. And he immediately gets the beard back because he loves his red hair and his big red, bushy red beard. And Thor's like, dude. And it's like, ooh. If you don't give us back Idun, I'm gonna shove my fist up your ass and pull your heart. And, of course, Loki's like, ooh, dude, I think he means it. So Loki says, oh no, it wasn't me. The giant THJAZI has taken her. And so the gods go up there. And there's two versions of this. One, they go to THJAZI's place and kick his ass and kill him. The other is that they get some dust that they put all, like sawdust, they put all around Asgard, and they lure THJAZI back, and they cause it to burst into flames, and he burns. But the real story is that they went and kicked his ass, and Thor took his fist, punched through the giant's chest, grabbed his heart, and ripped it out. Thor killed the guy because he enjoys a good fight, especially with giants, as you saw in the first Marvel film. Well, dude's dead, Idun's back, gods get their apples, everybody's happy, they're kind of drunk. I think there's more to those apples than just golden sweetness. I think there's a little THC in there and some other stuff, because they threw a big party, they were having a big drink down, and something new happened. And the something new that happened is THJAZI's daughter shows up, SKADI. Sometimes she's Scaldy, sometimes she's Skuldy, but Skald. And SKADI shows up, and she's just crying and crying and crying because her daddy's dead. And she's pissed off at the Asgardians and says, I demand reparations. She doesn't talk that way. Okay? She's not an evangelical from the American Deep South. But she's incredibly beautiful. Yes, she's a giant, but she is also the goddess of winter, and she's incredibly pretty. And so she's got this beautiful, wintry, melodious voice. I demand retribution. For you have slain my father. And if you don't give me retribution, I'm going to kick some motherfucker's ass. And so the Asgardians say, well, listen, your dad deserved to die because he stole Idun and the apples. And that's technically true, but here's Loki sitting there, oh yeah, he did that. But Odin, being the wise all-father with one eye, he says, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take THJAZI's eyeballs, I'm going to pop those suckers out, I'm going to toss them up into the heavens. Oh, look, 2 new stars to honor the memory of your loving father. And Scotty's like, fuck you, old man, that's just 2 new stars. I lost a dad. And if you don't want me to kick some Asgardian ass, you got to do 2 things for me. The first thing you got to do is make me laugh. And that's where the fun part comes in. Because Loki's like, ooh, I can do that. Because Loki isn't just a dick like he is in those movies. Loki's the god of, he's the trickster god. He's a prankster. He has fun. Now, his tricks and jokes often get folks into trouble, but he's got a sense of humor. He's a laugh a minute. And so he decided he was going to go ahead and get her to laugh. So they told some jokes. Did you hear the one about the Ant and the Cyclops? Or did you hear the one about the Medusa? Did you hear the one about this? Did you hear the one about that? Nothing works. Because remember, SKADI is the goddess of winter. She's got a cold personality. None of this laughter, ha ha for her. So what does she do? She just sits her ass down and, okay then. Loki's got an idea. Now listen carefully, because I really think that Tom Hiddleston could do this in the next Thor movie, or better yet, a spin-off series of Loki movies. There'll be a series of road comedies. It'll be great. But Loki decides he's really going to make this girl laugh, so he has a brilliant plan. He gets a goat, Loki often hangs around with goats. You have to wonder about that. And he takes an invisible rope and he ties one end of the invisible rope around the goat's beard. Okay? You see where I'm going with this. The other end of the invisible rope, Loki ties around his own testicles. Yes, he came up with this brilliant idea thousands of years before Johnny Knoxville ever thought of Jackass. So Loki's on one end with his testicles on the rope, and the other end is a goat on the beard. And they had a game of tug-of-war. And Loki's no pussy. He really pulled. And the goat would go, "Arr!" and pull back. And Loki would go, "Oh!" and pull back. And the goat's like, "Oh!" They're pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling. The beard versus the mighty testicles of Loki. Well, eventually what happens is this. The damn rope slipped, and Loki fell on his ass and landed in SKADI's lap. And what did she do? Well, he was laughing his head off. I don't know how he could laugh his head off, because if somebody's going to go yanking on my testicles attached to a rope in a game of tug-of-war, I'm certainly not going to be giggling. Quite the opposite, I assure you. But Loki was laughing his ass off, and SKADI broke into a smile. And a little, ah, and that was it. But Loki had fulfilled the terms. He had made her laugh. Now that's the goat, the giant, SKADI, Loki, and the testicles. That's that part of the story. But that was the first part condition of forgiveness for SKADI. The second part condition was that she would be able to choose a husband from all of the Asgardians. Now I know what you guys are thinking, because you've been watching those Marvel movies and you've been looking at Loki, and about 98% of the women and 48% of the guys, when they see Loki, they're like, "He's so cute, he's so cute." But that's not the way it was historically. You see, most of the Asgardian women and most of the giant women, everybody, if you didn't have a penis, you pretty much thought Balder was hot stuff. They would look at that dude who was the god of beauty, and he was just perfectly beautiful. Between you and me, he's probably the first gay god in the Norse pantheon. Except they didn't come right out and say he was gay. But he did a lot of stuff that seemed pretty much, if you looked behind the lines and across the T's and underneath those eyes, those dots tell you Balder's the gay one. But he needed a beard anyway, and he pretended to be in the closet. And so all these women looked at this perfect specimen of manhood, who's probably gay anyway, and said, "He's so cute, he's so cute." And she, like all the others, SKADI wanted to marry him. And Odin had an idea. "Yeah, you can choose." Oh, I'm sorry. "Oh, yeah, you can choose your husband, but let's make it fun and interesting. You can choose your husband, but you can only see the legs. You have to choose your husband from the legs only." And so they did that. I know it sounds a lot like a Japanese game show, because they had all these eligible bachelor gods stand behind a curtain. So it's a big ribbon. We can see their legs, and they drop trowel. So they were naked, legs down there, no peepee toes, although Loki evidently is okay showing his testicles. But she could see the legs, and she had an idea. Balder's the really cute guy, so he's probably got the cutest legs. Unfortunately for her, she saw these really perfect pale white legs that were just beautifully formed. And she said that one turned out, wasn't Balder. It was indeed someone else. She chose Njord, who was the god of the sea, who was an old crotchety fellow. And she was quite disappointed because it's like, dude, you're old. I wanted him because he's so cute. But you didn't gnarly, but because she chose, she married the old guy. He had the best legs and feet because he spent a lot of time walking in salt water, and evidently that'll keep your legs young and beautiful. I kind of disagree with that theory, but it's a myth, so it can be anything it likes. So she married Njord, and then they had to decide, hey, where are we going to live? Are we going to live at your place or my place? So they spent the first part 9 days, because 9 is a holy number. It's a beautiful number. They spent 9 days at her place. And he hated it. Because she's the goddess of winter. Come on. It's a mountain full of ice and snow. It's lonely. And Njord said the howling of the wolves really bugs the crap out of me. I really miss my home by the ocean, or actually in the ocean. It's a nice little bay where there's swans. I love the sound of the swans, but those wolves, man, they're annoying as hell. Well, they spent the first 9 days there, and he hated where she lived. And then they spent the next 9 days in his place, which was the place of ships. It's one of those, it's a bay with a beautiful beach and beautiful, beautiful trees. It's a fucking tropical paradise with swans. And she was miserable because it was nothing like home. She missed the cold. She missed the snow. She missed her wolves. And so Njord and SKADI's marriage didn't last. Yeah, they split up. And that's okay, because the Norse gods, they split up sometimes and sometimes they don't. And even when they're married, they tend to sleep around quite a bit, especially folks like Odin. Man, that dude got around. And his wife, Frigg, the goddess of marriage and motherhood, in some versions of the stories, she's very much straight. She's a Penelope or a Hera. But a lot of the versions, she's pretty much the same as Freya, because Freya was a bit of a round heel. But that's because Freya and Frigg are probably, honestly, probably the same person. But they got split off. And that happens to gods and goddesses. They change and evolve over time. Either way, that's the story of Loki, the goat, and Loki's testicles, and all that other stuff. I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope, like you can imagine the glory that would be as part of Thor #3. Wouldn't that be awesome? Come on, admit it. You really do want to see Loki from the Marvel films with a rope around his testicles having a tug-of-war with a goat. Don't you? I know I do. And if you don't, that's okay. I just thought it was a funny story. All right, and this is Dr. Brian David Phillips saying, live trance and prosper. Bye-bye. Seriously. Go. Leave. I said, go. Bye-bye.